average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sunny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what you just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a
Up. This one's about to get brutal. Joe Rogan just roasted Sunny Hostin so badly, she might need witness protection after this. But that's not even the craziest part. Karoline Leavitt just pulled the legal trigger on The View, and trust me, this isn't some petty lawsuit. This is a full-scale takedown, and the fallout is going to be massive.
There is so much good news, so much winning out of the Trump White House right now that the mainstream legacy media can't keep up with.
The View is in full-blown panic mode. Hosts scrambling, lawyers working overtime, chaos behind the scenes, you name it. They thought they could play their usual game, mock, smear, and move on without consequences. But this time, they messed with the wrong person. Karoline Leavitt isn't just pushing back. She's going for total annihilation, and now The View is desperately trying to make this lawsuit disappear before it destroys them. And just when you thought things couldn't get worse for them, enter Joe Rogan. He didn't just throw a jab at Sunny Hostin, he obliterated her in a gloves-off, no-holds-barred rant that's sending shockwaves across the internet. Social media is on fire, and you better believe Sunny has seen the clips. Let's just say, she is not taking it well. But how did it even get to this point? What triggered this absolute train wreck of a situation? Well, it all started with The View doing what they do best, going after someone they don't agree with.
I saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a rabies infested.
This time, The View set their sights on Karoline Leavitt. Why? Because she's young, conservative, and refuses to bow to their carefully curated, one-sided narratives. Instead of a real discussion, they pulled their usual tactics, talking down, cutting her off, and trying to make her look like a fool. But this time, the tables turned. Karoline wasn't just another guest who would take the insults and walk away. She saw the disrespect, the condescending tones, and the outright lies, and she decided enough was enough. Now she's firing back, not with words, but with legal firepower. And suddenly, The View isn't so loud anymore. Then there's Joe Rogan. Oh man, he took one look at what Sunny Hostin was saying and torched her. No sugarcoating, no holding back, just straight facts, and they were brutal. If you thought Sunny could just brush this off, think again. This clip is spreading faster than The View's PR team can handle, and the damage is already done. Now The View is in full-blown panic mode. Lawsuits, internet backlash, public humiliation, it's all hitting at once. Karoline isn't backing down, and Joe Rogan just made sure this moment will never be forgotten. You have to see this for yourself.
Really don't like this woman. She's a good communicator. And so Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was picked for the...
Joy Behar, with that signature smirk plastered across her face, threw out a low-blow comment, suggesting that the only reason Karoline Leavitt got her job was because Trump thinks she's a 10. Yep, that's the best she could come up with, completely dismissing Karoline's talent, experience, and hard work, reducing her success to nothing more than a man's approval. And as if that wasn't bad enough, Sunny Hostin, never one to miss a chance to inject identity politics, doubled down. She painted Karoline as some kind of privileged elite, conveniently ignoring the fact that Karoline climbed her way to the top through skill and determination. And then there was Whoopi Goldberg. What did she do? Not much. Just sat there nodding along like a human bobblehead, silently co-signing every insult thrown Karoline's way. But here's where they really messed up. They underestimated Karoline. They thought she'd do what most guests do when they're ambushed on The View, shrug it off, play nice, maybe even laugh along. But Karoline wasn't having it. Instead of playing their game, she flipped the script, and not just a little. She went full nuclear. Bam. Karoline didn't just fire back with a weak defense, she exposed them. She called out The View's hypocrisy in broad daylight. The way they preach feminism when it suits their agenda, but the moment a woman doesn't toe their ideological line, they rip her to shreds. She put them on blast for their double standards, showing how they protect liberal women at all costs while doing everything they can to destroy conservative ones. And then, oh, this is the part that sent shockwaves through the industry, she didn't just stop at words. She sued them. Not for some symbolic dollar amount, not for a slap on the wrist. Karoline hit The View with an $800 million defamation lawsuit. Yeah, you heard that right. She's claiming their reckless, nasty comments didn't just offend her, they actively damaged her reputation, smearing her name on a platform watched by millions. And now? The same hosts who were laughing just a moment ago aren't laughing anymore. Now they're scrambling, panicking, desperately trying to backpedal. Suddenly, their smug little jabs aren't so funny, because this isn't just a clapback. This is a reckoning. And now, instead of tearing down Karoline, they're the ones begging her to settle.
While I vow to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House.
Boom.
She's got more.
I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country.
Bam!
ABC executives are in full-blown panic mode, running around like their hair's on fire, desperately trying to contain the disaster that just exploded in their faces. They thought they could get away with their usual smear tactics, take their shots, move on like nothing happened, and sweep the mess under the rug. But this time, they underestimated the wrong person. Karoline Leavitt didn't just push back, she came swinging with a legal wrecking ball. And now, the suits at ABC are scrambling, trying to clean up a mess that's only getting bigger by the second. But here's the part that's sending shockwaves through the industry. Joe Rogan just jumped into the mix. And oh man, did he bring the heat. He didn't just criticize Sunny Hostin, he obliterated her. We're talking about a full-on, no-holds-barred dragging. He called her out for being the queen of performative outrage, exposing the hypocrisy behind her constant victim act. And the internet? It's absolutely on fire.
If you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sonny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well.
Sunny Hostin, someone who thrives on playing the victim, yet ruthlessly attacks anyone who doesn't fit her carefully crafted narrative. Every time she gets called out, suddenly she's the most oppressed person in the room. But when she goes after others, well, then it's just holding people accountable, right? Well, Joe Rogan wasn't having it. And he didn't just roast Sunny, he torched the entire panel of The View. His words? If you average the IQ of The View's hosts, you're not hitting triple digits. And the internet lost it. But Joe wasn't just throwing shade, he brought receipts. He reminded everyone how The View used to praise Trump when it suited them, rolling out the red carpet and treating him like their best friend. But now? They rewrite history, pretending he's the worst thing to ever happen to America, as if people wouldn't remember their blatant hypocrisy. And if you thought he was done, think again. Joe Rogan didn't just expose Sunny Hostin. He ripped apart The View's entire format, calling it out for what it really is. His words. It's like a reality TV show where facts don't matter, and the loudest one wins. And let me tell you, social media erupted. Within minutes, Joe Rogan exposes The View and cancels Sunny Hostin were trending worldwide. The comments? Brutal. One person summed it up perfectly. Joe Rogan just did more fact-checking in 5 minutes than The View has done in 5 years. And another. The View preaches empowerment, but the second a woman thinks differently, they tear her apart. What a joke. This isn't just a bad look for The View, this is a meltdown. And it's only getting worse. Intro 7. At this point, The View isn't just in trouble, they're in meltdown mode. And if Joe Rogan's brutal takedown was anything to go by, the worst is far from over. ABC executives thought they could contain this disaster, maybe spin it in their favor, but this scandal has exploded beyond their control. And now, even their own viewers are turning on them. Karoline Leavitt's $800 million lawsuit is shaking the industry. Reputations are on the verge of collapse. And behind the scenes, The View's hosts are panicking. Producers are in emergency meetings. Lawyers are scrambling for a way out. Staff members are even questioning if the show can survive this level of backlash. And as if things weren't bad enough, Joe Rogan's public takedown of Sunny Hostin is still fresh in everyone's mind. That rant didn't just hit hard, it set the internet on fire. But here's the problem, instead of facing the lawsuit head-on, The View is pretending it doesn't exist. There. Brushing past it like it's not the biggest controversy they've faced in years, but the internet isn't stupid. Clips of Joe Rogan's rant? Everywhere. News outlets? Dissecting every moment. Even their loyal audience? Calling them out. And then there's Sunny Hostin. Wow. Sources say she's spiraling behind the scenes, demanding that producers fix this and salvage her reputation. But what can they do? Joe Rogan didn't just criticize her, he exposed her. He laid out every contradiction, every moment of hypocrisy. And now, even people who once supported her are saying, yeah, she kinda had that coming.
One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, I wanted to play this, but we decided we shouldn't play it. We don't want anybody to have any sort of a way to get it down. The episode of you when you're on The View, when you were running for president.
Right.
Donald Trump is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add President of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to.
You got introduced as our friend Donald Trump.
Please let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
That's right.
Whoopi Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. They all loved you.
We're so happy to have you. Whenever you're on with us, we're very happy.
They're talking about you as such a favorable light. The audience was cheering, and then you actually started winning in the polls, and then the machine started working towards you.
Joe Biden knows how to do this. Trump. Yeah. He tends to just...
Joy Behar, her signature smirk? Gone. She thought her little Trump joke about Karoline would be just another ha-ha moment on The View. Instead, it helped ignite the biggest defamation lawsuit in the show's history. And Whoopi? Completely silent. No sarcastic remarks. No dismissive attitude. Just a whole lot of nothing, and honestly? That silence speaks volumes. So where does this leave The View? In absolute crisis mode. The lawsuit isn't disappearing. The backlash isn't fading. Joe Rogan made sure of that. And now, with the chaos spiraling further out of control, it's looking more and more like this could be the beginning of the end. ABC executives? Scrambling. The hosts? Shaking the legal team? Working overtime, trying to contain an $800 million lawsuit that could destroy them. But here's the real problem. It's not just the lawsuit haunting them. It's the fact that their reputation has taken a hit they may never recover from. They've spent years trying to position themselves as the voice of truth, the ultimate defenders of justice. But now, the internet is calling them out for what they really are, a machine built to tear down anyone who doesn't fit their agenda. And things just got worse. Karoline Leavitt isn't just backing down, she's doubling down. She's making it clear, this isn't just about money. This is about exposing The View for what they've done.
Mention one thing. That's on the ABC, of course, but what a class act. I mean, speaking about Donald Trump, you can't make this stuff up. Should The View go next?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Sunny Hostin has faced challenges or she's been in trouble, let's say, by executives at ABC for some of these smears and lies that she spread. There needs to be some level of accountability with these talk show hosts. People tune in to left-wing networks. They expect to get a left-wing talking point. But what they shouldn't expect, or what we shouldn't treat as normal, is the fact that there is nothing but denigration and maligning of characters.
This statement, Karoline didn't just defend herself, she called them out. She exposed The View's long history of silencing and smearing conservative women. She pointed out how they claim to support women's rights, yet have no problem destroying a woman's career if she doesn't share their politics. And let's not forget Joe Rogan, because his rant didn't just make waves, it started a movement. More and more people are coming forward, calling out The View for their hypocrisy. Clips of their past. Flip-flopping. Resurfacing everywhere. Blatant double standards. Exposed. People are finally seeing that The View has been playing both sides for years, changing their stance whenever it benefits them. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, totalchaos.abc.
Democrats are in complete disarray because they have become a globalist party who like to spend taxpayer dollars on useless priorities just to cater to the left's demands here at home.
In her latest statement, she
See execs losing their minds. Producers scrambling to salvage what's left of the show's credibility. The hosts falling apart. Sunny Hostin in full panic mode. She thought she could spin this into another sympathy moment, but instead, she's watching her credibility crumble in real time. She was always the loudest voice calling out injustice, but now, she's the one being exposed. And she can't handle it. Joy Behar? Livid. She thought her little jab at Karoline would be forgotten in a news cycle. Instead, it's turned into a legal nightmare that could cost the network hundreds of millions. Whoopi? Checked out. No jokes. No sarcastic dismissals. Just the quiet realization that this might actually be the end of the line for the View. ABC is scrambling for an exit plan. Will they settle? Will they fire someone to save face? Or will they try to quietly shut this down and hope the internet moves on? One thing is clear, this isn't just another scandal. This is a reckoning. And at this rate, the View might not survive it. Even ABC's top executives are sweating bullets. This isn't just bad press, this is a full-blown nightmare. Lawsuits, public backlash, sponsors rethinking their deals. This is the kind of disaster that doesn't just blow over. And according to inside sources, ABC execs are seriously discussing major shakeups. Some advertisers are already backing away, worried that staying attached to this mess might drag them down too. And even Whoopi Goldberg is staying quiet. Which, let's be real, says a lot. When Whoopi has nothing to say, you know the situation is beyond saving. And then there's Sunny Hostin. Her media credibility is tanking. So fast, some are wondering if ABC will finally cut her loose just to stop the bleeding. But let's be honest, the damage is already done. Her reputation? Shattered. Karoline Leavitt just flipped the script. And now? It's the View that's begging for mercy. So, what happens next? Will ABC fire someone to save face? Will they settle before this lawsuit drags them into an even bigger disaster? Or is the View about to face the ultimate reality check? Now it's your turn. Did Joe Rogan go too far, or was his roast 100% deserved? Is Karoline Leavitt's lawsuit the wake-up call the View needed? And will ABC finally clean house after this catastrophe? Drop a comment below, we're reading all of them. And before you go, smash that like button and hit subscribe. Because you do not want to miss what happens next. Who knows, maybe subscribing grants you 10 years of good luck. Or at the very least keeps you ahead of the drama.